architecture, the proportions are not always the proportion and the things themselves. Often the proportion between the things. You know, there's nothing, but still there is a proportion.
Audio Jungle.
The German-born architect Ludwig Mies van der Rohe is regarded as one of the leading figures of modernist architecture, alongside with Le Corbusier and Frank Lloyd Wright. The way he emphasizes opening space in order to reveal industrial materials sparked a new generation of architecture, modern architecture. The innovative thinking of Ludwig Mies van was passed down to future generations at the Art Institute of Chicago. In 1938, Ludwig Mies has a set of education that brought everything back to the basics. The students must learn to draw first, in order to familiarize the features and industrial materials. When the students are familiar with the materials, mastering the fundamental principles of design and construction is the final step. This concept of education became his belief later on. Architecture is always changing. In fact, it is changing the world. Mies uses open space and revealing raw materials embedded in the 20th century culture. The interaction between the steel and concrete frames with brick and glass expressed the industrial era of the 20th century. His concept of less is more changed the classical norm that people had. His buildings reflect his concepts of extreme clarity and simplicity. For example, the Lakeshore Drive apartment in Chicago. He did not pretend to solve all problems. He was simply working on particular language of discovery, searching for the symbols of our time, the psyche of our time, and beginning to draw that language to be elaborated by others. The long path from material through purpose to creative work has only a single goal: to create order out of the desperate confusion of our time. We are primarily interested in clear construction. This is structure. We put up what has to be built and then we accept it. I have wanted to have an architecture that anybody can do. Great things are as difficult as they are rare. Buildings are meant to be built and lived in. However, Mies' belief broke through the traditional aspect of a building. The simplicity that expressed strongly of the industrial era of the 20th century is groundbreaking. Buildings are no longer buildings. Mies' buildings reflect the quality of life and the elements of living. Mies' buildings signify beauty and rationality. The elegance of his work gave a visual representation of his beliefs. The concept of less is more allowed Mies to get rid of the excess capacity and focus solely in expressing the beauty of the materials and essential elements of our environment. This is a strong correlation between the 5 points of modern architecture and Mies' belief. Mies heavily impacted the creating of the 5 points that later on became the fundamentals of modern architecture that is being taught worldwide. Mies' devotion to architecture can be seen throughout his career. The buildings that he designed symbolize the true value of modern architecture. Mies' dedication in searching ways to express the modern era has earned him a spot in the world of architecture and is one of the greatest architects. The way he applied disciplined design processes using rational thoughts created new architectural language that expressed the technological advancements of the modern era.